All right, let's talk about Bali. When you think of Bali, what comes to mind? I bet it's sunsets, beach clubs, maybe that iconic photo on a giant swing over the jungle, right? But what if I told you that the island most people see, well, it's just the beautiful but very, very thin surface of what's really there. Today, we're going to pull back that curtain and find the Bali that's been hiding in plain sight the whole time.
Every single year, more than 6 million tourists land on this one small island. Now think about that for a second. 6 million people, all looking for their slice of paradise. And with that kind of volume, a very specific and very well-worn path has been created.
And this is that path. You know it. It's the infinity pools in Seminyak, the packed rice terraces in Ubud, the long queue for a photo at the gates of heaven. It's become a circuit, a sort of checklist that gets repeated millions of times. It's beautiful, no doubt. But it's also standardized. It's Bali, the product.
And that really gets to the heart of it, doesn't it? After a week of these perfectly curated moments, most people fly home thinking, okay, done. I've seen Bali. But the truth is, they haven't, not even close. They've completely missed the main story.
So what is that story? What are they missing? Well, to even begin to understand the real Bali, you have to get your head around its spiritual foundation. And I don't mean it's just a part of the culture. It is the culture. It's like the island's operating system. It runs literally everything.
The official name for it is Agama Hindu Dharma. Now, this isn't just Hinduism that was copy-pasted from India. As you can see here, it's this incredible, unique blend that's been brewing for centuries, mixing Hinduism with ancient local beliefs in nature spirits and ancestor worship. But the most important thing to get, the absolute key, is that for the Balinese, the spiritual world and the physical world, they're not separate. They're one and the same thing.
And this slide just says it all, doesn't it? This is what that belief looks like in real life. In Bali, you don't just go to church once a week. The sacred is everywhere, all the time. It's in that tiny woven offering of flowers you step over on the pavement. It's the little shrine in the corner of a rice field. It's the family temple that's part of every single home. The entire island is a living altar.
Okay, so if the entire island is this active, living, breathing, spiritual place, then why do most tourists only ever see the same handful of spots? Let's just take a look at the massive scale of what's being overlooked.
20,000. Just let that number sink in for a minute. That's the estimated number of temples, or puras, on Bali. No, that is not a typo. In some parts of Bali, there are literally more temples than houses. This isn't a museum piece, it's a living, breathing civilization.
And yet, out of all those thousands, the average tourist trip boils down to the big three you see on the left. And they are spectacular, don't get me wrong, but they're also destinations with huge parking lots and ticket booths and crowds. Now, compare that to the places on the right. A temple like Patukaru, totally silent in a foggy mountain forest, or just a random village temple during a ceremony. You see the difference? One is a spectacle for visitors. The other is just life.
And you see the same exact thing with cultural performances. That famous Kachak fire dance, it's awesome, but it's also a 45-minute highlights reel edited down for a tourist's attention span. You compare that to something like a Sangyang dance, a real trance ritual that can go on for hours. It's not performed for applause, it's done for the spiritual well-being of the village. It's not entertainment, it's a sacred technology.
Now, this idea of the spiritual and the practical being completely intertwined, it reaches its most mind-blowing expression in something almost no tourist has ever even heard of. And yet, UNESCO has called it a masterpiece of human genius.
It's called the Subak system. And yeah, on the surface, it's an irrigation system for all those famous rice paddies. But if you look closer, it's so much more. It's a complex network that has been managed for 1,000 years, not by government engineers, but by priests in water temples. They use a calendar of rituals to perfectly coordinate who gets water when across entire valleys. It's like a social, spiritual, and ecological computer all rolled into one.
And here's the kicker. Here's the proof of its genius. Back in the 70s, modern science came in and said, we can do better. They brought in new pesticides and high-yield rice. The result? A total disaster. Pests went wild, harvests failed. It was only then that scientists realized the ancient rituals were actually a super sophisticated form of pest control, coordinating planting breaks to kill off insect breeding cycles. So they scrapped the modern stuff, brought back the 1,000-year-old system, and a few decades later, UNESCO made it a World Heritage Site. Ancient faith turned out to be brilliant science.
So we know this deeper, way more interesting Bali is out there.
The big question is, how do you actually find it? How do you step off that tourist conveyor belt and experience it for yourself? And that's a totally fair question. It can feel like it's locked away, behind a language barrier or some secret cultural code. But the truth is, it's way simpler than you think. It doesn't require a special invitation, just a totally different approach. Here are 4 super simple but absolutely game-changing things you can do. 1. Get a local driver. Seriously, they are your guide, your translator, your key to the whole island. 2. Get up early, like 5 a.m. early. The real magic in Bali happens at dawn, in the quiet and the mist, long before the first tour bus engine starts. 3. Learn just 2 words in Balinese, not Indonesian. The effort to say hello and thank you in their own language shows a level of respect that gets returned to you tenfold. And finally, the most important one of all, just sit still and pay attention. Find a corner, be quiet, and just watch the world go by. Because here's the ultimate secret. The real Bali, it isn't hidden. It isn't locked away or exclusive. It's happening all around you all the time. It's in the quiet focus of a woman placing an offering on the ground or the sound of a gamelan practice drifting through a village. It's just moving to a different rhythm, a much quieter beat. All you really have to do is be willing to slow down, to look past the perfect photo op, and to just listen. If you can manage that, you won't have to find the real Bali. It will find you. The island will do the rest.